The enemies of self-defense have never launched an assault like they are now in the middle of commencing right now. Alex Jones here with an emergency report for Infowars.com. Mayor Bloomberg, many years ago, started an organization, Mayors Against Illegal Guns, that pushes for the absolute abolition of firearms ownership, the complete and total ban as they have in New York City, Chicago, and other areas where the globalist mafia have taken over. Bloomberg got his money and funding from corrupt elements of Wall Street, the very same interest that get trillions a year in taxpayer money. They want to secure that takeover. It's Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, and others. If you go look at who gives money to the anti-gun lobby, it's them. They are coming after our Second Amendment. They are authoritarians. And we've got some just unbelievable developments. It's moving faster than even I thought. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a new video, 80 seconds long, with 50 celebrities saying it's now time for you, America, to do something, and that you're responsible for the 20 dead kids at Sandy Hook, and that we've got to have a responsible plan. Now, they're acting like they're developing a plan to sound deliberative, but the stated plan by Bloomberg, I'm going to show you some of this, is the absolute ban of guns, turning them in. They've done this all over the world, by the way. Bloomberg is a big supporter of Israel and never calls to have the Israeli people disarmed, who are all given full auto M16s by the government, or the schools that have teachers with guns. No. That's how they respond to school shootings. Here, they take the guns away from the people, advertise the schools as the place to go commit a mass murder, and then blame all of us when one of their mental institution Prozac heads, who plays video games all day and watches violent movies, goes out and kills people. Then you collectively have to turn your guns in. They know all this, but they're saying, let's do something about illegal guns, and they want to make all guns illegal. Right here they say, tell Congress and President you support common sense legislation to end gun violence. Some of the strongest gun laws for the state in the country were in Connecticut, fourth strongest. She had to jump through all these hoops, fingerprints, background checks, didn't stop her son she was trying to commit from getting to the firearms because she didn't lock them up. Again, you'll never stop criminals. You or I could go up and hit a cop in the back of the head with a hammer and take their gun. Oh, and what about bad cops with guns? See, that's just part of the world. It's not the guns you blame. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's the people wielding them. And the system knows that. These aren't liberal idiots. Some of the Hollywood folks on here are. But Bloomberg himself, these are cold-blooded authoritarians that understand they need to disarm us so they can fully control us. The video is up at Infowars.com. Bloomberg organizes celebrities to push for huge gun grab. And they have Jamie Foxx and others that have talked about how much fun it is to kill all the white people on Saturday Night Live. They're saying we've got to turn all of our guns in. So more of the also division being pushed by the big city crime boss mayors. The model of America is a big city crime boss model. That's where this system of tyranny was basically designed. So it's important to go and counter this video and to send this video that we're shooting right now out to everyone you know so they know the facts, and to send people to the articles that are posted under it. Oh, New York governor, gun confiscation and forced buyback an option. Bloomberg, by the way, came out to the AP yesterday and said he is, quote, the biggest supporter of the Second Amendment ever. Did you know that? Because they believe the Second Amendment means you get to turn all your guns into them. Continuing here, ladies and gentlemen, here is the article with Governor Andrew Cuomo linking to the New York Times, where he says, yeah, we'll just give you taxpayer money and make you turn all your guns in. So that's part of the new task force where we're going to have a task force run by Biden who'll come to Obama, and then Obama will do whatever he says. The president can't ban our guns. Congress makes the law, and to do that, they'd have to have a constitutional amendment to repeal the Second Amendment. Oh, but here's a Cuomo. Oh, we don't want your guns. No, we just want to completely, absolutely, totally confiscate them. This is at Infowars.com, the New York Times link right there, and there's one of our T-shirts, Mass Murderers Agree. That was the first T-shirt I put out 14 years ago. Gun control works with Hitler, Stalin, and Mao. Speaking of Mao, who said political power grows out of the barrel of a gun and said that the Chinese people had to be disarmed. They disarmed the Chinese people. In 1949, our government helped put him in. And then he killed, according to the CIA, 64 million people. The Chinese government says 80 plus million people. But he knew you need to take the guns, so only the government has the guns. And now the official Communist Chinese Party publication, the People's Daily and others, have come out and said, quote, Obama. Read the article. It's in English, all right here. We link to the Chinese official news. They say, Obama, wage a war on gun owners. Use this tragedy to disarm them. And of course, the Pentagon says China is now our greatest military threat. So, of course, they would want the American people disarmed because Admiral Yamamoto of the Japanese in World War II, they wanted the Japanese to invade. The Japanese government did. And he said there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass. You can read those quotes and link through there. So foreign governments are saying disarm us. RT, Russian-run media in the U.S. is saying turn in our guns and demonizing it. And you've got Piers Morgan bragging that he's conquered America. I'm not kidding, and making bizarre jokes about it. In fact, you can go here and read about this. We've put a petition on the White House that's really tongue-in-cheek, but it's getting tens of thousands of signatures saying deport him. Of course, he may be facing criminal charges in England for the phone hacking. You can look that up. You can go to the White House and see our petition. Because this is a guy over here engaged in all sorts of things that are clearly illegal, lobbying against our Second Amendment here. We just put this up yesterday. It has about 5,000 signatures, just shy of that. We need the 20,000 for the White House to respond, so I'm sure it'll get up there in the month that we need to get that done in. So this is the reality. In closing, I thought it might be important for you to just type in Army Field Manual gun confiscation into the search engine. You'll find the actual Army Field Manual 3-1915 for here in the U.S. It also talks about re-education centers for Americans in there. That's FAS.org. You can also read it on the official government sites, army.mil. You can go to Infowars.com. We have a full breakdown of the entire article with a link to the PDF and then screenshots of all the places where they actually say it, so you can go to the actual big document yourself and find it. So this is the type of stuff that we're talking about here, and this is the real world. So you need to understand that Bloomberg and others want your guns as an act of total domination. Bloomberg has over 500,000 stop and frisk operations in New York every year. Bloomberg wants you to be forced to live into 250 square foot little Gen 21 prison cells. He is an authoritarian pig, okay? He is an authoritarian pig and an absolute enemy of anyone who cares about freedom. So I am begging all of you to realize that demandaplan.org is problem, reaction, solution. Create and exacerbate the problem, have the public say something's got to be done about it, and the answer is outright turning in your semi-autos that aren't even used in most of the crimes and that are used. The Pentagon, in its own domestic reports and the FBI statistics that I've shown this week at FBI.gov, admit are used to frustrate crimes 80 plus times for every time they're used in a crime. And everyone knows that the places where crime bosses like Bloomberg run things have the highest crime rates. England took all their guns. Their crime rate more than doubled. Look it up, ladies and gentlemen. We've got all these foreigners, Piers Morgan, the Communist Chinese, the Russians saying turn our guns in. This is absolute garbage. This is globalism. They've got the UN treaty coming up next month, and they want to restrict guns ahead of that treaty to get us in line with it worldwide so they can disarm people in African and Latin American countries, calling them warlords, when the big mega corporations and mercenaries go in and engage in mass murder, just like the UN did in '94 in Rwanda. That was actually a UN-run massacre of upwards of 1 million people. Learn the truth. The UN is an authoritarian murder crew. All these useful idiot Hollywood stars are a joke. They're up there, just pathetic, mindless idiots with a crook like Bloomberg pushing for us to lose our liberties. It's incredible. These big mega banks want your tax money, and they don't want you to politically to take America back so it ceases to be an empire and becomes a republic again. I'll cover all of this tomorrow and play the video and more on the radio, 4 to 6 p.m. with the Sunday show, Infowars.com. It's up to you to fight these guys. The Republicans are bought and paid for by the same interest. They're planning to sell us out. These people mean business, and they want to start, I've talked to law enforcement sources, they want to start random raids. Here's the key in the new year of what they call illegal guns from legal, lawful owners with no criminal records, claiming you didn't dot an I or cross a T, to try to begin to get patriots to shoot back, to then call it a civil war and call gun owners terrorists. And that is in the official manuals where they say gun owners, conservatives, libertarians, returning veterans are the number one threat. That's what this is. That's why they've been pushing Lincoln and federalism and saying we're going to get tough on everybody, because they want to push a new federalist program of domination. I mean, you can see the scripting of the whole deal. Obama as the new Lincoln waging war against the states. They're even admitting that now. I mean, this is a sick globalist takeover plan for America. Warn everyone you know.